water. Go with the flow with this.
The Nun. Ooh, this is a juicy one. I've been so excited for this film. This is the 5th film in the James Wan Conjuring cinematic universe. A horror universe done right. I love the whole idea of taking real life hauntings and turning them into a cinematic experience. It's amazing. The Conjuring's amazing. Annabelle is bad. The Conjuring 2 is amazing. Annabelle creation is great. And The Nun? The big baddie of The Conjuring 2, placed in her own solo film, easily one of the scariest villains in modern horror, in her own film. The Nun is unfortunately not great. And it's a shame because this film constantly seeps potential. At times, it's a really impressive horror experience, but the negatives here really do outweigh the positives. The Nun isn't terrible, but it's just not very memorable. I mean, you don't forget the chilling moments from the original Conjuring. Those moments stay with you. The Nun, on the other hand, has an over-reliance on cheap jump scares, which is unfortunately an annoying trend in modern ghost films. Granted, the first half we get some genuinely suspenseful moments, but as the film continues, it starts to lose traction, and Valak the Demon Nun just isn't very scary. In fact, at times I'd say it borders on comedic, or at least that's how I felt. There were genuine moments in this film where I found myself laughing, and that's probably not good. But on the other hand, the film has a very strong start. The film opens with a young nun committing suicide, which spurs the Vatican to send over Father Burke, played by Damien Bichir, and he is accompanied by a trainee nun, Sister Irene, who is portrayed by Tessa Farmiga. Bit of a conjuring trivia here. Tessa Farmiga is the sister of Vera Farmiga, and Vera Farmiga plays Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring films. The two of them travel together to Romania to investigate the death of the nun. Now, this film is set in 1952, which is way before the events of the other films. And the plot here is actually a great foundation, and I really enjoyed some of the directions it took, even if it did get pretty ridiculous and overly convenient towards the end. It's made even better by great performances. Both Tessa Farmiga and Damien Bichir are great here, and the third member of their party, played by Jonas Blochette, is a great comic relief and likeable character. And I really enjoyed the performances here. But the writing, on the other hand, is pretty bad. I really hated some of the dialogue here. It is so uninspired and lacking in motivation and weight. Some of the lines are way too cringy. As previously mentioned, it's not good when you're laughing in the darkest chapter of the Conjuring universe.
In 1952, the Vatican investigated the events at the Abbey of St. Carda. Witness the darkest chapter.
So let's talk about the horror here. Visually, the film is lacking. Visual effects just aren't special or well developed. They don't look dreadful, but they're rather bland. Sound design, on the other hand, is thankfully prioritized, and it is incredible. It booms and creaks in a cinema setting. And not only is the sound design good, the music here is haunting. A lot of it's brought over from The Conjuring 2, but the unique soundtracks are altered from the same vein as that music. It is spot on and absolutely frightening. Great stuff. But despite a handful of genuinely creepy moments here, the horror is cheap. I loved catching glimpses of the nun walking through the abbey subtly. Those moments gave me serious chills, and it's a shame the film doesn't fall back on them. Instead, it goes for crappy jump scares that are painfully predictable and not really scary. I never found myself nervous in anticipation for these scary moments. But I suppose for a casual audience, they will be more than effective to have a spooky evening out. And I think that's all I have to say about The Nun. It really is a casual horror film, but in a growing market with growing expectations, okay just isn't gonna cut it, and I'm unfortunately feeling rather disappointed. Not bad by any stretch, The Nun has a lot of potential, and at times it capitalises on it, but most of the time it's dreadfully bland and uninspired. I wouldn't rush out to see this one. If you enjoyed, make sure to give the video a like, and hey, maybe even give the channel a subscribe if you're feeling generous. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram for full written film reviews, and stay up to date with all my shenanigans on social media. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Roll credits!
Bye.